everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about overwhelm and what you can do to get yourself back on track if you're feeling really overwhelmed, really stressed, and like you've got no idea what to focus on, what to do. I know it kind of sends your head into a bit of a spin, so we're going to look at that today and I'm going to give you some techniques to get back on track and get that focus back. Hello everyone, so if you are new around here, my name is Rebecca and I am the founder of Rebecca Yates, and we make stationery and prints to encourage and inspire, and lots of stationery items that help you to achieve your goals in style, including some things which are going to help you to deal with overwhelm. But you can use anything for this. You basically just need a pen and a piece of paper. That's all you need to get started with this. So the first thing I do want to talk about before we get into this is what overwhelm is and why you're feeling the way that you're feeling, because I think it's really important to understand the way that our minds work when it comes to things like this, because it's going to make what we're going to do next a lot more, it's going to make a lot more sense. So when we get overwhelmed, often it's because there's so much going on and there's so much coming from different directions that we don't know what to focus on. We basically get into a state of stress. Now, as women, generally speaking, we are wired to be able to focus on a number of different things at once. This is really useful when it comes to multitasking, and it was also really useful when back in the day, you know, caveman days, if we were in a state of stress, it would be because, you know, something was attacking us, we had to flee for our lives. Now, women were very good in the tribe at making sure everybody got to safety. So where's granny, where's the baby, where is everybody, let's all run, let's go, let's go. So they were very good at shifting focus from thing to thing, which was particularly useful. So it means that in modern day life, when we get stressed out and when we get overwhelmed with everything that we need to do, our mind goes, right, okay, well, our ability here is to focus on lots of different things. So we might find ourselves going, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this, or not being able to focus, starting out on one task and going, okay, right, 5 minutes on that, and then being really distracted by something else. So that's just something, it's just the way that our brains are wired. There's nothing wrong with you, it's just like that's the way we were wired. That's how we're sort of built to deal with stress. So when it comes to stress and overwhelm, the first thing we really need to do to get our focus back is to take ourselves back into a state of feeling okay again, not feeling really overburdened and worried and stressed out, because that's not going to help us to focus and actually get things done. So the first thing you can do is just to take a couple of minutes and just literally breathe. Okay, don't stress. You can take 2 minutes if you're in the office and you have to take yourself off to the bathroom, just spend 2 minutes, just close your eyes, just reset, breathe, focus on your breathing for just a couple of minutes. Trust me, this is going to help so much. I know that you probably don't feel like you got the time to take a step out, but just 2 minutes can just completely reset you and mean that you can actually focus and get things done. So the next thing, after we've kind of refocused ourselves and calmed ourselves down a little bit, the next thing to do is basically get everything out on paper. So grab yourself a piece of paper or a notepad like this one and set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes. And for 5 minutes, don't want you to be distracted by anything else like checking emails or any of that sort of thing, and just get everything down on paper. Everything that's in your head right now, it doesn't matter if it's work stuff, personal stuff, like everything that's going on in your head, just get it all down on paper. Because one of the things that we can often do is actually worry that we're going to forget about doing something. So if you've got it all down on paper and just do one big massive brain dump, it feels like such a relief. The other thing is that sometimes things feel like bigger and more scary in our heads, and then we write it down and we think, actually, there's not actually that much I need to do right in this minute. There's just a lot going on in my head. So it makes it makes everything a lot more manageable. After you've got everything down on paper, it's then time to start prioritizing. And what I recommend you do at this point is take a highlighter and pick out everything that needs doing today. Just look at all the things you've written down through the lens of what needs to be done today, and highlight everything on your list and everything you've written down that needs to non-negotiable needs to be done today. After you've worked out all the things that you need to do today and all the top priorities, you're going to write everything you've got on your big brain dump into a prioritized to-do list. So starting at the top, writing in the things that you've got to do today at the top of the list, and then with every other item going through and thinking about what priority it has. What's the next thing I need to do? What's the next time sensitive thing that needs to get done of all of the things that I've written down? And just go through and really prioritize and think about, just think really, because often we think everything needs doing at the same time, but often it doesn't. Challenge the deadlines that you're imposing on yourself and think about what needs to be done when. What needs to be done today versus tomorrow versus this week, and prioritize it all into a list. So it really helps if you just look at each individual thing and then decide what needs doing next, what needs doing next, what needs doing next. And it really forces you into thinking about things in terms of those priorities. Now you've got your prioritise list sorted, it's time to start ticking things off, and hopefully there will be some things on there that are really easy to get done. But because you've organised everything in priority, you know exactly what you need to be focusing on right now. I also want to introduce you to another technique, which is time blocking, which we have our daily planner pads for. So all these pads, by the way, you can find in our shop. I will pop in some links below, but like I said, any to-do list or a piece of paper is fine. Time blocking works really well because it means that we actually focus on the task at hand, and we do that free of distractions. So if we allow ourselves, if we say to ourselves, oh, we've got all of this stuff, we need to get it done all today, that's fine. But what's more helpful is if you can allocate different time to different tasks. We can take as long as we want to complete a task. If we give ourselves 2 hours to write a blog post or film a video, it'll probably take us 2 hours. If we give ourselves an hour and that's all we've got, we'll finish it in an hour, for example. We'll take as long as the time that we've got. So if you want to use something like this to time block in all of those tasks that you've got to do, a really, really useful thing to do. I also like to set up as part of this like life admin power hours. So if there are a few things, like there are a few calls I need to make, a few bills I need to do, or do a few emails at the same time, allocating an hour and just saying, right, this is the life admin power hour, like I'm just gonna knock out a load of these different things that I know I've got to do, that I know I've got going on in this hour. You'd be so surprised at how much things you can get done if you're really focused in that time on just doing one thing. It's one of the biggest problems that we have is distraction now, is taking ourselves away to check our phones or check our emails. But if you said to yourself, no, for the next 2 hours I'm just going to focus on doing this one thing, you'll get so much more done. The final tip I have for you when you're looking over this massive list is really thinking about where you can get help. Now, I know that asking for help is sometimes not like, it doesn't feel like a natural thing, and we assume that we have to do everything even without thinking about whether we can ask for help or thinking about whether we can offload some of this sort of stuff. So whether that's asking for help from a colleague if it's a work task, or if it's asking for help from a housemate if it's about organising your flat bills, or a partner, or even your parents or something like that, there are often people we can ask, and often people who are willing to help us. And I know sometimes it feels like you feel that you have to do it all, you have to do it all on your own, or you're not a successful, like brilliant multitasker, like boss woman, that kind of thing. But sometimes it's absolutely fine to ask for help, and often there is more help out there than you actually realise. So open yourself up to the possibility of asking for help, because sometimes we just make the assumption that we need to do everything. We don't even think about asking for help, and we don't realise it's out there for us. So think about if there's anything you can delegate or get help with, because that will really help free up some more of your time. So just to recap then, anytime that you're feeling a bit stressed, a bit overwhelmed, a bit like everything's going on and the world's really on top of you, just follow these few tips. So firstly, remember that there's nothing inherently wrong with you, that it's not that you're just unfocused and that you can't get the work done. It's just the way that you're wired and you're just in a stressful situation. So the first thing to do is take yourself out of that, do a bit of a reset, take a couple of minutes to calm down and to calm down your mind, to calm down the stress. It's going to help you focus a lot more. Second thing is to get everything down on paper, just do a massive brain dump, everything that's swirling around your head down on paper. A third thing to do is to prioritise what needs to be done today, and then put together your to-do list based on those priorities. Fourth thing to do is to start looking at some time blocking and working out exactly when you're going to do the different things on your to-do list, and working out when you can get that distraction-free time. And the fifth thing to do is to think about, is there anything on here that I can pass on, that I can delegate, and that I can get some extra help with? I really hope you found these tips for dealing with overwhelm useful. Definitely check out my other videos on the channel if you want more tips on planning and achieving your goals, and let me know how you get on with these tips in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a little like and a thumbs up. That would be super cool so we can get out there to more people. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I shall see you around the internet very soon.